Well, there are more allegations of illegal campaigning and voter fraud in that Honolulu race for city council.
And we now know we know that super PACs play a prominent role in politics, but the state's largest labor union says it knows nothing about thousands of dollars it apparently donated towards candidates. Really? Joining us over Skype is CivilBeat.com reporter Chad Blair. Good morning, Chad.
Good morning, KITV.
Okay, let's start with the allegations of voter intimidation. And as we already know, candidate Martin Hahn accusing opponent Joey Manahan of intimidating voters into marking their absentee ballots for him. And he's accusing candidate Romy Cachola of helping him.
Yes, as we reported last week, Romy Cachola had a very unusually large number of people voting absentee mail-in, a 70% figure. Very unusual in Hawaii elections. The complaint that Martin Hahn has filed with the Hawaii Supreme Court actually lists Romy Cachola. The suggestion is basically they work together. Cachola helped Manahan, or Manahan as some pronounce it, and vice versa. They both share a slice of Kalihi, a district with a lot of care homes where a lot of elderly people live. This is at the crux of the intimidation concern.
So this is not the first time that Hahn and Manahan have butted heads, right?
That's right. There was a problem earlier this year concerning Joey Manahan's wife and how there was money going her way. She, of course, worked for the legislative representative who's now running for the council. But that's all water under the bridge. This is a far more serious challenge.
All right. Well, in another race, GOP House member Gil Revere lost his race on the North Shore by only 80 votes, but he's blaming his loss on Mufi Hannemann and Tulsi Gabbard. Why?
Well, more specifically, he's really blaming it on Mufi Hannemann. That is, people that didn't like Mufi Hannemann voted against him, therefore giving the race to Tulsi Gabbard up there, at least in the North Shore precinct areas. The concern is that Gil Revere was very pro-environment. He is a very outspoken figure at the legislature. Opposed expansion of Turtle Bay, opposed expansion of Laie. Mufi Hannemann, as mayor, was in fact in support of many of those issues. So Gil Revere feels that really it was an anti-Mufi vote, meant an anti-Gil vote as well, because he essentially pulled the Democratic ballot rather than the Republican ballot.
Really interesting, Chad. And finally, Civil Beat is working on a story about Working Families for Hawaii, and we know it's a federally registered super PAC which supports Democratic candidates, and HGEA is listed as a contributor, but what are they saying about it?
They're not saying anything at all, not really anyway. HGEA and the ILWU, another prominent union here, they are listed with the FEC filings. Their names are members of their unions are actually on the organizational reports for this super PAC. The super PAC gave $70,000 to help Mazie Hirono win that U.S. Senate race, but we just can't get anybody from the unions to comment directly on this.
Very interesting stories. Well, thanks, Chad, for always giving us some insight on what's happening with Civil Beat.
You're welcome, and thank you for reading Civil Beat.
Thank you. And you can find the complete stories that we just discussed on civilbeat.com. It is 6:40. We'll be right back.